All right, guys, how's it going? I am Pat Garrett, and thank you for watching Shot Group Therapy. It's been a long time since I posted a video. It's been the holidays and the beginning of the year, getting ready to graduate school and working and all kinds of crazy mess. I didn't have time to get to it, but I just recently made an acquisition and then a few changes to that acquisition that I believe that you guys would find very informational and useful, if that's even the right words. I don't know. I'm not a linguist. Whatever. I'm going to get right into it. So I bought very recently, 4 days ago as a matter of fact, I purchased a built AR-15. This is actually after I rebuilt it. I just did it this afternoon. Haven't had a chance to put any rounds down range, but once you see everything I've done to it, you'll understand why I decided to go ahead and make a video on it. This is after I've rebuilt it, and I'm going to show you how to take probably what would be considered by many to be a substandard AR platform and turn it into at least a half decent truck gun for, relatively speaking, not a lot of money. Anybody who's ever tried to build an AR knows you can do it for cheaper than you can buy one, but even buying one ain't cheap, so therefore building one ain't cheap either. But I purchased this one for $700, and the only reason I did that was because it came with 13 magazines, 120 rounds of ammunition, a bag, a clean kit, and it was, I think 40 rounds had been put through it. So as far as the barrel is concerned, it was new in my book and it was something that I could work with. So I purchased it for $700. Now I today put $514.75 into it. That's not including any optics or anything like that, because those are, you know, you get whatever suits you. That's shooter's preference. So not speaking of optics, I just went with what was on it. That's a center point. I don't even know what it is. It's just a reflex red dot. It works good enough for what it is. This something only goes out to probably 200 yards, and it definitely keeps a Minuteman man at that distance. So that's all it really is meant to do. So I decided to leave it on there. But without further ado, I'm going to get into exactly what I did. So I'm going to take this sling off because I already had the sling beforehand, and I don't want to get it confused. This is a bungee single point QD sling, little QD flesh cut sling. All right, so I'm going to start at the head and work all the way to the tail. First thing I did was took the A2 flash hider off. I have that one here, and I put the, which was this is the Dead Air Armament 5.56 muzzle brake that does have the QD attachments for the Dead Air Armament suppressor series, their line of suppressors that they have. One day I'm eventually going to get a can. Hopefully they can come down on the prices a little bit. That'd be nice. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how that goes. Before I go any further, I do want to say the only things that's on this rifle that were on it whenever I bought it are the upper, the lower, the buffer tube and the assembly, the bolt carrier group and its assembly, the castle nut, and the barrel with the gas tube and the gas block. Those are all that was on this rifle. If you're going to attempt to purchase a cheaper rifle in order to do a build like this, I would recommend making sure that you get one that at least those components are still sound. Because that was the basis for this build, was that I was able to come out from the very get-go with a weapon that wasn't entirely foobarred. But this is a 1/8 twist, 5.56 chamber, so I just ran with it. I'm not going to get into how the links are cut on the barrel. It's close enough. That's how long it is, close enough. But we have the Dead Air Armament muzzle brake on the end of it here, and it just happened to come out to just over the 15-inch rail that I decided to put on it. I chose to put a Seekins Precision M-Lock rail on it, and this is a very lightweight option. It's not the best as far as getting run over by a truck. I wouldn't recommend running over any sort of high-grade firearm with a truck. I don't understand why that is a thing. I don't know anybody that sits and rides in the back of Humvees whenever they go to the shooting range. And if you have a combat-oriented weapon, you should have it on you at all times in combat, and it shouldn't be falling out of the back of a truck. But anyway, this is a lightweight model from Sequence Precision. It was only $179 or $159, something like that. And it does what I need it to do. I need it to not turn into Jell-O, basically, and I need it to hold stuff. Hold all the cool trinkets and bells and whistles I like to put on my rifle. So that's what it does, and it does that very well. I did choose the Magpul angle foregrip, and that's just kind of how I like to run my gun, with the thumb over technique. All my firearms are unloaded for the purposes of these videos, and then I load them right before I put them back where they go. So I don't care what you think. This little center point here is, I'll get to that in a minute. So here's the old rail. I'll show you what was on it before. I kept the packaging for everything, and I put the old, whatever the old part was, corresponding part I put back. So this is the old rail. As you can see, it's key mod. I don't like key mod, that's just me. And it's only 12 inches long. And it's a little rinky-dink little thing. It is what it is. That's why I decided to take it off. This one is a little bit stronger than that one, so I guess for functionality, it's an upgrade. Here's the old A2 flash hider. I showed you that. And there's the box for the Magpul M-Lock angle foregrip. There's the freedom seats. I'll put those down here so don't get them confused with anything else. I don't know. You people are weird with your safety juggernauts. All right, so I put a new charging handle on it. This is the Radian Raptor LT. I kind of like it. If you don't want to drop $100 on, let's say, a BCM gunfighter or something like that, this totally does the job. It's got polymer handles instead of metal handles, but it's truck gun. Who cares, right? Boom. That easy. It cycles both sides. Palm grip, both sides, thumb, doesn't matter. Does what it needs to do, and it's a lot beefier than the standard mil spec that came on it. The next thing that we did to it was we put the Magpul bad lever. I think if you don't have a bad lever on your rifle, then you don't have a bad rifle. That's just the way you do it right there. You can't beat that at all. You can lock it back, or you can ride it forward. Best $39 you'll ever spend, or $34.99, or however much they are where you come from. I left the standard mil spec safety selector switch in it, and then I gave it a beautiful trigger job. So this is something that I found out interesting today that I'm glad that I picked up while I was out. That's the I guess mil spec, if you want to call it that, bolt carrier group that was inside of it. So I gave it a trigger job. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the springs inside of there are yellow. So what I did was I put the JP has this spring kit that you can get for $14.99. They have two different ones. They have an improved and then they have a reduced power. I went with the reduced power because the improved is just a little bit too light. I like to have a little bit of tactile response when I pull my trigger. I don't want it to just blow back like butter, because I'm already trigger happy as it is and I don't need any help. I just want it to be smooth when I pull. And that's what this aided in doing. I also did a polished job on the trigger faces, and that helped it a lot. Sanded those down to a 1200 grit. And as soon as I get this put back together, I'll show you how well the trigger pulls. I put a brand new QD mount plate on the back here, and just because that's where I like to run my sling all the time, and that was, I don't know, 20 bucks, something like that. It wasn't bad at all. And then I put the Magpul CTR buttstock on here. I had the exact same buttstock that you get on a standard Colt M4 or an FN M4 that you get in the military. And that thing tends to dig into you after a while, and I'm just not a big fan of it. This is the old back plate with nothing. As you can see, everything was pretty much mil spec. There was nothing fancy about this rifle. If anything, there was a few things that were just a little bit gaudy about it that just weren't right. So the original reason that I wanted to work with this rifle, aside from it needing a lot of love, was that the rail, the handguard did not actually meet up in line with the upper. It was off to the side. I could tell something wasn't right. The gas tube was just in all kinds of out of sorts. So what it should feel like and what it should do, how a gun should run whenever it is put together properly, is if you hear this, that metallic ding, that is my gas tube flowing freely whenever the charging handle and the bolt carrier group are locked in its rearward position. That means that my barrel is truly free floated at that point if you have a free float handrail. It should have a little bit of rattle there. It should have some room to move around. That means that there's nothing torquing against another thing on your barrel, which could help or could hurt, I should say, your accuracy. Then when press my new bad lever here. Oh, that's so easy. When it goes forward, takes that slop out of it, locks it down, everything's good to go, seals up good for good contact whenever the gases start flowing. Just to give you an idea of the trigger here, I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I'm actually gonna come over here and show you here how the trigger runs. There's always a little bit of a bump and then a click. Charges, click. And notice that you can't even really see the white on my finger whenever I go. It just kind of goes. And this is a standard mil-spec trigger that was just polished and then had a spring kit put in it. And it is down to about 4 pounds, which is right where I like it, that good tactile response. And hardly no slop, and it pretty much does the same pattern every time. Once you get in a rhythm, you get to know the trigger a little bit. It's always bump, click, bump, click, bump, click every single time. I think for $514.75, you cannot beat what this gun is more than likely not capable of doing. Granted, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that I can get about minute of angle accuracy, as you should, out of a decent AR build. So all in, 1,200 bucks. It's custom, it's mine. It does what I need it to do. Also, before I forget, this M-Lock foregrip, or handrail I should say, has flush cups mounted on the side and on the front that are anti-rotational. You see those are not twisting. There's one here, and there's one on the front, if I can get it in. See how that's anti-rotational there. But I think that's everything on here. This center point, I'm probably going to change this out for, I like the 45-degree offset sights. I prefer the Troy Industry sights, but I could not afford any of those at the current time. So I'll get them when I get them. I'm not going to get something I don't like and then have to turn around and drop more money on something just to make it work. I'll just save my money and drop it when I'm ready to go. But that's pretty much everything for now. Once that's done, I'll put a ACOG or a Vortex or something on there so that I can get a little bit of magnification, because I like to switch between here, right there, and here, and here. Short range, close up, reactive fire, real quick. I don't have to orient my weapon. I can just bring it straight up and bring it right back down. And then when I get a second and I need to make a long range shot, I got time to engage. Boom, boom, boom. And it works for me. But all in all, I gotta say, $500 out the door, all done. I don't think you can beat that as far as a truck gun is concerned. We all know that if you just go ahead and drop another 300, I think it is, so a total of 15 or 1600 for an Arrow Precision, you'll be doing pretty good right out of the gate. But this one is set up to my body, and this is meant for reaction. It's meant for those muscle memory moments when you have to make a flash decision to defend yourself. And so the better it fits you, the easier it's going to be for your muscle memory to kick in. And that's exactly what this rifle does for me. All of you will do it a little bit different, but hey, that's what makes us American, is that we get the right and the ability to do that on our own time, on our own dime, and do it the way we wanted to get it done, because this is America. And if it weren't for those freedoms, well, I guess we'd just have to start fighting all over again. And hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but that's why we have these. That's why we have the Second Amendment. I'm Pat Garrett. Thank you for watching Shot Group Therapy. I know this video was a little weird. I'm kind of out of practice. Hey, I'm just getting back in it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.